interpretive film and performance project has been produced by New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park. The program was funded by the National Park Service's Lower Mississippi Delta Initiative, an organization that strives to highlight culture and heritage in the Lower Mississippi Delta. Join us as we take a road trip to national parks in the Lower Mississippi Delta. Oh yeah.
I tried not to let Mama see how scary it really was, but I didn't have to. She saw for herself on the news. When she turned on the television, my throat dried up and I felt dizzy. There was Elizabeth in her beautiful dress, walking along in front of the school. When the mob saw her, they moved in on her like monsters, yelling, "Go home, nigger! Niggers don't belong here. Drag her to this tree and lynch her." Evil things I had never heard before.
Little Rock Central High School joined the National Park Service in 1998. We were signed into legislation by former President Bill Clinton, and we were mandated to protect and preserve and interpret for the benefit and enjoyment of current and future generations the historic events that happened at Little Rock Central High School and their pivotal role in the start of the Civil Rights Movement.
They were furious. They shook their fists and screamed in her face. One man spit right in her hair. The women, wearing white gloves, were screaming and scowling their faces at her. When I saw it, I started to shake. I wanted to jump through the television and lift her out of there.
A 15-year-old Elizabeth Eckford walked along Park Street right behind us, and a crowd of angry protesters surrounded her and followed her every step of the way. It was that image and those images that were broadcasted all over not only the U.S. but the entire world that put pressure on the federal government to get involved in what was going here in Little Rock. And on September 25th, 1957, President Dwight D. Eisenhower called out the United States Army to come to Little Rock and escort what's known today as the Little Rock Nine.
I should have been there with her. She kept walking, and the mob followed her every step. Teenage girls our own age closed in on her, shrieking, "Go home, nigger!" Hundreds of them yelled, 2, 4, 6, 8, we don't want to integrate. 2, 4, 6, 8, we don't want to integrate. Over and over and over.
But through all of the attacks and the things that they went through, every single day they showed up for school because they realized the importance of education. And of course, they remind citizens still today the importance of education and equal access to education as well.
One man swung a noose, laughing. She was wearing sunglasses, so I couldn't see her eyes. I know she was petrified. Why didn't the soldiers protect us? All we want to do is go to school. Thank you.
Mr. Mercer.
Little Rock Central High School National Historic Site is not necessarily unique, but it joins a host of historical components of the National Park Service. Many visitors connect with the National Park Service on the natural level, so they know the Grand Canyons and the Yosemite that make this country great and historic, but they sometimes forget that the National Park Service also protects and preserves the cultural resources that have impacted the country as well. It's exciting that the National Park Service has decided to bring this story under its wings so that this story will always be told forever to future generations.
We're going to do some of the songs that we've been traveling around in the Mississippi Delta corridor. And as they said, this is a trip that's funded by and a program we recorded several, what did we do, 22 songs?
32.
32, I lost count. We've done quite a few recordings of different national parks in the Mississippi Delta, the lower Mississippi Delta, funded by a grant through the National Parks Foundation called the Lower Mississippi Delta Initiative. And so we recorded these songs, and now we're making the road trip and documenting the events. And it's been a wonderful trip so far. Learning about walking through, crawling through, kicking up dirt and dust, and the history of America in the lower Mississippi Delta. And it's a reflection of the people. These are stories that are often not told. And it's a wonderful pleasure to be a part of it with the National Park Service. So we're gonna do a song called If You Don't Go, Don't Hinder Me. If you don't go, don't hinder me. Come on, people. If you don't go, don't hinder me. If you don't go, Lord, don't hinder me. I'm on my way. Great God, I'm on my way. Wow, I'm on my way to Beulah land. I'm on my way to Beulah land. I'm on my way, Lord, to Beulah land. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to Candyland. On my way to Candyland. I'm on my way, well, to Candyland. I'm on
go home anyhow. On my way, yeah, great God, on my way, on my way, great God, on my way, on my way, great God, on my way. Thank you so much, y'all.